2025 Paper 2 Question 9. We're changing the subject of a formula to K. Now the subject at the minute is B because B is the term on its own and we want to change it to get K. So the idea is we want to get K isolated on its own. So pause the video if you want to have a look at it or attempt the question, and otherwise I'm going to continue. So we have B is 1/4 KC squared minus 3C. And to get K on its own, we want to get rid of all of the other terms and get them onto the same side as the B. So getting K as the subject simply means get K on one side on its own. We've got minus 3C on this right hand side, so we will add 3C to both sides, and you have to do the same to both sides. So if you add 3C, then the minus 3C and the plus 3C will annihilate or cancel each other. But we then have to do the exact same to both sides. That's Algebra 101. It's one of the first things you learn in algebra in S1 or S2. Now 1/4 KC squared means 1/4 multiplied by K multiplied by C squared. So we've got the 1/4 is being multiplied on the right hand side, so we can divide by a quarter. Essentially that means multiplying by 4. So we can multiply both sides by 4. It's the same thing as dividing by a quarter. Equals KC squared. And we then want to get K on its own, so the C squared is being multiplied on the right hand side. So if you divide by C squared, you cancel it out on that side. So you have to watch out with your brackets. Do this one step at a time. Don't attempt to divide multiple terms at the one time because you're more likely to get it wrong. I'll show you an example of what I mean. Now you can do it, but I really recommend you don't. So what you don't want to do is, you've got 1/4 KC squared. You can divide the whole thing at this stage by 1/4 C squared, and that means you're left with the K. So you can do that these next two steps in one, but you're likely to get it wrong. So take each thing slowly, one step at a time. You should have the time in Nat 5 to do so. Higher is different, that's tight for time, but you've got plenty of time to do this in full. We'll put K on its own on the left hand side. So what you have to check is that K is on its own on the left hand side. which it is, and on the right hand side does not have a K. It's got B and it's got small c, but it doesn't have a K. So that's us done. Always perform that check that I just did at the end of the question. Let's have a look at how this one was marked. Your first mark would be for adding 3c. Second mark would be multiply by 4, and the last mark is dividing by c squared, this. You've also got a second method which, in my opinion, is much more complicated, but you can do these in a slightly different order. So you multiply by 4 to get rid of the 1/4. You multiply both sides of by 4. If you showed no working, you get no marks, because part of the question is you being able to show that you perform operations to both sides of the equation. And quite a lot of ways in which people got this one wrong. So what you had a lot of is people taking square roots in the wrong place, and stuff like this. You have this here, but you can't take the square root of that and take the square root of c squared, because you then have to take the square root of this k. If you have a look at, at this line, they've taken the square root of this, but they've not taken the square root of kc squared. They've taken the square root of c squared and then multiplied that by k, but you have to take the square root of k and c. But once you take the square root of k, that's then useless, because you want to find k on its own on the left hand side, written as k, not as the square or the square root of k. And stuff like this is not simplified, so you would lose a mark for this. That's what I said about doing steps by step. Don't do multiple jumps in the one go. It's like, imagine feeding a baby. You wouldn't feed a baby the entire jar. You would give it small spoonfuls, small bit at a time. Same idea here. You wouldn't feed the baby the entire thing. You don't do the entire question in one big jump. You do each bit slowly, and it avoids you making, it minimises the risk of you losing marks because of stupid arithmetical mistakes. And here, the last one is they forgot to put the minus 3c in this one, and you lose all of the marks. The reason is because if you take away the minus 3c bit and you're just left with this, you've made the question much easier than it should have been. So you can't get marks for follow through if you make the question easier, or you make the subsequent working easier, you can get follow through marks. But if you then make the question easier by the last mistake, that can't happen, and you won't get the follow through in that case. Is it unfair? I would possibly say so, but I'm not the SQA. And yeah, the other mistake that they made in this one is you got b plus 3c over c squared is 1/4 k, but they've intended to multiply both sides by 4, and what they should have done is they should have put brackets here, but they didn't, because this means 4b plus 4 times 3 is 12c. So this, the numerator of this is 4b plus 12c. Many pupils wrote 4b plus 3c instead of 4b plus 12c. So brackets are important. Now, I hope you found this useful. There's a lot of ways to get it wrong. It might look simple, but it did cause issues. Now, thank you for watching, and best of luck with your studying. Leave a comment if you want me to explain anything else.